I bought a one-way home tonight. I'm not sleeping alone. I'm on my way back, baby. I'm on my way back home. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. I'm on my way back, scratching and swaying and screaming. I'm on my way back, can't help but feel these things I feel it. I'm on my way back, starting up nice and slow. I'm on my way back, I'm taking a call. Give me an answer to one night to stand alone. Without the instances of where the night is gonna go. I felt these shivers to fall over the windows of the door. Let's switch, we can't see no more. Give me that right there. I've waited for so long and I won't wait 1 minute more. So have it by my side. Rock it to my heart. I've missed this, I can't tell. No, and now I can't believe it's real. The love for you I feel. Deeper and deeper again. And I'm coming home.
Midfield from Dundas, number 6, Benjamin Heidecker.
And welcome back here at Alumni Field as we're just moments away from the start of the second game of the 2016 Baggataway Cup playoffs. Zach Engel pleased to be hosting this year's event. We've got Stephen and Pat who will be on the call, and we'll go ahead and send it to them in just a moment. Just to recap, if you're just tuning in right now, the Brock Badgers defeated the Ottawa GGs by a score of 20-8, and in just a few moments it'll be the Bishop Gators taking on the Guelph Gryphons for a chance to play Western tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Now we'll go ahead and send it to Stephen and Pat, who will be on the call today.
Hey, thanks, Zach. Welcome, lacrosse friends, to the 2016 Baggataway Cup quarterfinal number 2, and we certainly expect this one to be a lot closer. Ottawa was really kind of in over their heads. A nice effort by the GGs in the first game to hold it close for a while, but then Brock's depth and talent just really came through. They win 20-8, set up a matchup tomorrow against Trent that you and I were just talking about, Pat. We think it's going to be a great game.
Oh, it absolutely will. I mean, both teams very, a lot of anticipation heading into this year. Trent kind of resurging their program, having their best, one of their best regular seasons the program's ever seen. And then you have Brock, a team that's been hungry to bring the cup home, and what better way to do it on home field here.
We're ready to go now, though. Bishops and Guelph. The winner of this will play the afternoon game tomorrow at 4 o'clock here on Brock TV. I'm Stephen Stamp with Pat Gregoire in a battle right off the opening face-off. We're going to have the first penalty of the game. Push from behind. And you can hear immediately, the Guelph coaches saying, don't change early. They're keeping a very tight eye on things.
And that happens when you do have the, the extra official in the box, making sure that these changes are as tight as can be. And you can hear on the sideline here, they continue to stress, I should say, making sure that, you don't give away the ball with a dumb change.
So Guelph setting up on the extra man. You can hear them preaching patience on the bench. That ball bounces loose, but a nice job to grab it. And Guelph will head back the other way. Nathan McKenzie. These are young teams, so here's a veteran for Guelph. Michael Lalani running towards midfield, and that is one of the differences between these teams. They're both young, they're both talented, but feeling their way through, a little raw. But in net, David Bigley, of course. Bagley last year wasn't all-Canadian for Bishops, and he is gone, and Matthew Wolf has stepped in, playing well, but you don't have that experienced veteran goaltender like you do in Lalani at the other end, we saw him almost steal a couple years ago.
Yeah, and you know what? He did have a solid regular season that year, but it just seemed like he upped his play so much more, in the Baggataway Cup, and we'll see if he can do that again this year.
There's the ball in front, bounces away. Brett Olbicus couldn't get it. Olbicus with 46 points this year, leading Guelph. And Olbicus is one of the holdovers from those Guelph teams that won back-to-back championships.
He had himself an outstanding, final that in Oshawa 2 years ago.
He sure did. And he was the other guy.
Exactly.
That's here. And now he is the man on this Guelph team. They've got lots of others. Michael Cavanaugh with 36 points. James Short, Liam Corbett. You know, they're going to move it around. This Short passing the ball across the back over to Corbett. And now they're going to move it around, taking their time. Very patient. Really didn't push things when they had the man up. Rather, the Guelph tends to be pretty methodical, and they come in and it works for them. And it's Short getting the first goal of the game. 2.5 minutes into this first quarter, and Guelph goes up. But expect this to be a very tight back and forth game.
Yeah, all because, you know, with that nice dodge there comes Sue and, you know, just draws a man, draws that slide, and it's Short who's able to find it. They did try to, you know, work something there on the man down, very similar situation, but, you know, the offense definitely comes through number 5 in black tonight.
And as we talk, you know, Guelph, a very patient team. They will probe, and when they get their chance, they'll pounce. And so much of it does flow through Obicus, who had 30 goals, but also led the team with 16 assists. And he's a good disher as well. And like all of these guys, you know, playing a lot of box lacrosse, Obicus very successful in the box game. Bishop's setting up for their first offensive possession. They're going to get a feel for things as well. Joel Wright passes across the top. There's Rhett Handley, number 22, is their leading scorer. They've completed a full circuit. Lee Kanakin will send it back up to the top. They're just going to take their time setting things up. Handley now with the ball in his stick.
And this is Bishop's team, you know, traditionally has good runners on midfield going both ways as well. Last year had James Malloy, who was, you know, their offensive producer from attack. Almost a chance there for Bishops.
Yeah, the ball passed in front at the strip, and Guelph picks up the possession. And I'll tell you, you can see the camera angle is right on the field. We are right beside the cameras, right beside the bench. Here comes Guelph to the other end. Cut short with the pass. There's a save and a big hit as Corbett takes the shot and absorbs some punishment, but he fights through and goes and gets the ball back.
That's a good job there by Wolf to make that save. You know, in these tight games, you know, when there are those opportunities on the fast break, if you can come out with a stop there, that's huge. You know, these two teams are so close. Both of them, you know, Guelph finishing with 142 goals for, Bishops with 144. These teams are near identical when you look at them.
Very well matched. I should say it was actually Ben Heidecker that got that ground ball after the ball was knocked away. Corbett played well, but got to give Heidecker the credit. When he gets it, they're going to lob it all the way back out top. And Alex Simons is going to chase down a ball that got away from him. Had a little bit of pressure from Thomas Baggataway. Coming from X. Pass up top, knocked down. Nice job. But there's the hard ride, and the hard ride continues. Guelph gets it back, causes 2 ground balls, and now it's knocked away. Bishops has it back. There's a collision. That was Corbett laying the body on, and eventually it's Guelph coming up with it again. Alex Simons pouncing on that ball that came out of that scrum among about 5 or 6 players. And a very physical tone set early on.
Yeah, that's how Guelph plays, though. They've always traditionally had, you know, a really strong ride, and it just showed right there that, you know, although it's different players in this program, they're still playing that Guelph style lacrosse.
Well, I mean, one guy we mentioned from those victorious teams a few years ago was Curtis Knight, who was, you know, he could be the best player on the field at both ends of the field. And Guelph has that same mindset where they're not gonna give up just because you've got the ball.
Exactly.
They will be on you. And the key, of course, is how quickly they get on, because once you get the ball and get some space, the clear becomes much easier, right? It's the immediate ride that is the big key. Bishops gets it set up.
Bishops going offside there. And that one took a little bit longer than...
Oh, speaking of a ride, there's a great check there. As Cam Bateman comes back and causes a turnover, and they get the ball back. And Bishops had turned the ball over because they were offside. And we actually, I was saying, we're right beside the Guelph bench here. We've got the officials and the scorers to our left, and we actually heard the official counting, the two of them conferring, saying, he actually counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, blues off, and then blew his whistle. And, good to see them making sure.
And that's the thing I mentioned earlier. I know you have that extra official in the
Oh, there's Cam Bateman going to the net, going high, and tucking it over Lalani.
Nice goal there by Bateman. Just going behind the cage there, coming strong, being his man, and almost looked like a one-handed attempt that kind of just, scoop shot over top and ties this game up.
Yeah, the difference we're seeing, I think, and sorry to jump on you there, the difference we're seeing, I think, in this game from the previous one, Ottawa was trying to play a very composed game. When you're a 3-9 team going against an 11-1 team, you need to slow the ball, slow the game down, take the air out of the ball, as it were. There's a battle along the restraining line, and again, you're seeing exactly what I was just about to talk about, which is, it was a bit of a tentative game, a bit of a slower paced game. This one, you can see the intensity right off the bat. That's because these teams know each other, know what to expect.
Exactly. I mean, and that's the thing too with a team like Ottawa. I mean, they already pull off the huge upset against McGill. They have to play almost a near perfect game, you want to say, against a team like Brock on home field. And there's a turnover. Another turnover again from this Guelph team, which is very uncharacteristic from them.
But again, they're immediately on top of it. And again, I mean, we talked about Guelph, how hard they are on ground balls, how hard they go after the ball. Well, so does Bishops. Timeout Bishops, a great call as they just had gotten possession. You can see how important possession is, and that battle really coming down to it. Antoine Asselin comes up with the ball, and they snag that first one. And wow, what a start to this game. We are almost 9 minutes into the game, a 1-1 tie, and we expected it to be close. It has been close, and it's going to be a battle. You can see how much it means because these guys know what's on the line here. And the one thing you wonder, I mean, and what we've seen over the years is it can be very challenging to play 3 games in 3 days. We've talked about that. The coaches say they like to get the day off. Trent was pretty excited that McGill lost because it meant they got the Friday night off. Didn't have to win 3 games. But we saw, I mean, this Guelph Gryphons team is a team that has won 3 games on Baggataway Cup weekend to take a championship.
Exactly, and that's one of the things I talked about in my power rankings a couple of weeks ago on Inside Lacrosse. I mentioned that Guelph maybe don't have the big guns that they had a few years ago when they made that run, or any of their other championships runs. But this is a team that they still do have a few of those seniors on the team, and the coaching staff that they have, they still play the same style of lacrosse, and it seems like whenever they need a big win, they somehow find ways to do it. And even that season when they did win in Oshawa, they still weren't pegged as the favorites to win.
Well, they're a 3 seed coming out of the West. I mean, as they are tonight. So. Never underestimate them. This Bishops team, of course, another young but talented team. They're going to move it around the outside. Simon Winquist, and boy, I tell you, Winquist scored, I thought, possibly the best goal of the Baggataway Cup last year. He had an absolute dandy. He is a very talented guy with great feet who can explode into the slot area and get that shot off. They're going to come back out to Handley and reset things, though. You can see Guelph getting ready to meet them. Winquist and Handley just playing catch a little bit. Winquist trying to dodge across the middle, goes around the pick from Handley, gives it back to him, but the pass is off a little bit. Handley has to chase it. Little overcommitment by the defender. You have to be so careful when you're jumping out, but you're going to say interference. And Guelph will get possession. And they are pushing the pace forward. That pass looked a little bit forced, but he got it over to Corbett.
Good job by Corbett to slow that down, not try to force the issue. Give your defense a little bit of a break here. They have, with the turnovers back and forth and that long possession there by Bishop, it's nice to give your defense a little bit of a break here.
Now, if you get the chance, if it's a perfect play, but Joshua Tuguri took the ball, sprinted up the field, and was kind of running at full speed and saw Corbett just to his side and sort of pushed it over to him a bit and didn't hit him in exact the time. So Corby just said, okay, nice play, nice rush. We're going to slow things down, like you said. Bishop snags the ball in their own end. The pass back to the goalie, of course, infield lacrosse. You can do that once, throw it to the goalie in the crease. That was one thing for me as mostly a box guy, seeing the pass to the goalie in the crease, always a little strange. But
yeah, there are some little different rules that the field game has that are complete opposites to the box game. But you always see those skills translate over quite well.
Ball being pressed along the far side. Taryn Cook trying to control it. They throw it back out, and there's a strip. Well, it's picked up, and he's flattened, and he tries to make a pass as he's going down. That was Liam Patton. Bishops gets the ball back. As we said, both teams absolutely valuing possession. We've seen the ball on the ground a lot, and I don't think it's because of slip-ups or mistakes so much as it's just the intense pressure from both of these teams.
Yeah, the urgency is really up, and Patton making a great play there, stripping the ball, but you see just the purple jerseys collapse on him immediately. He can't do anything when he picks up that ground ball.
And the other thing, I mean, like you said, he's knocked down, he's flying horizontally and tosses a pass, but there are purple jerseys in every direction that he can go. They are prepared for whatever's coming. And you see the same with the black Guelph jerseys, where it's the help support from the teammates that's really making a big difference, making it so hard to create scoring chances. They're going to come as the game goes on. Bateman, the goal scorer for Bishops, had it for a while. Now they come back up to the top. Andrew Nielsen trying to drive, steps back and fires and scores from distance. And the Gators jump up 2-1, and that is just a rocket. That was a John Grant Jr. style to just step back and rip it, or Curtis Dixon maybe because he's a righty.
Yeah, no, that's a gorgeous goal, and that's exactly it. He's backing up on his man real hard, and if you kind of just give that little stall and step back, it gives you just enough separation to kind of let it fly, and nothing Luani can do on that one. It's far side off stick, and it's an absolute rocket from the outside.
Possession for the Gryphons, so they'll go and try and get right back into this one.
That's the thing. It was Joshua Tagore who was on the short stick D midi covering him there. He was playing such great defense, but it's just that one step. It gets that great separation, and he's able to just let it fly.
Josh Manigan with the face-off win. He is coming off now. He's about to walk right in front of the camera. There you go. Get a nice close look up at Manigan.
See what Guelph does here if they try to go, which we've seen a lot so far, trying to initiate the offense from their midfield and roll back and hit the inside man or hit the guy on the crease.
That's so much of their game. Here's Obicus running down. He's just going to let it rip on his offside and bury it past Matthew Wolf. And Obicus, you can see why he scored 30 goals this year. He's dangerous on the run.
Yeah, he is a big body. Likes the physical stuff, but boy, he shows his flashes of speed, comes across, dodges down that alley, and his shot on the run is probably one of the most deadly in this league.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, it's now tough for Bishops because you've seen a play now where he's taken it to the cage and shot, and then you've seen another one where he draws that slide and hits the man on the crease. So now you're wondering, do we slide early to him? Do we stay? And it's a decision that Bishops is going to have to make.
Yeah, we're going to have a unsportsmanlike call. Manigan was checking to see if it was him. The push from behind. And that's where it's so difficult to maintain just that line, right? I mean, both teams playing so hard. They're fighting. They're battling for these face-offs. You've got, Ryan Arsenault for Bishops and Manigan, who are just battling away. And maybe a little push in the back. I mean, again, I'm a box guy. I'm not calling that, but it's definitely a field penalty, right?
Yeah, you do have to call that there. And that's the thing too in field lacrosse. You have the minor calls there where it's only a 30-second, right?
Yeah.
So really, the one team only has one chance to take it to the cage and try to gain advantage. And Guelph doing a good job to kill that 30 seconds off quite quickly.
Yeah, and then get the ball up the field and set things up. Heidecker thought twice about coming off, but then he decides to come. Get Alex Simons out on the floor. 2-2 the score, 3.5 minutes to go here in the first quarter. I'm Steven Stamp with Pat Gregoire. Subbing in for Ian Duffy, who did the first game, but is now part of the Brock Alumni Celebration Weekend. There's Albix to the net and scores. So now we've had him on the run and is offside, letting a laser go high. We've had him cut in and hit another man on the pass, and now we've had him just battle through a couple of checks and bounce one in. How do you stop him?
You know what? You can't stomp him. You have to try to contain him, and Bishop's definitely going to have to do some adjusting at the end of this quarter. Find out ways how you can cover him, because it is so tough. He's so versatile, and we talked about how veteran players in this game especially are going to be so key, because both teams are fairly young, and Obilka is showing how valuable having a veteran with that much skill set on offense is in this big game.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. That's one of the beautiful things about college lacrosse, right? You see these guys developing. Brett Obilka just, 2 goals and an assist in this game, and we talked about that huge game he had a few years ago, but it's, it was from such a different place. He was like the extra guy coming in and just grabbing a bit of attention, grabbing some chances, because they're checking everyone else.
Yeah.
He's the main target. They're focused on defending him, and yet he has been absolutely lights out here in the first quarter. Drive towards the net, a nice pass. Recovery there by Alex Simons, and they get it out. Oh, the pass out to Obilka. Somehow he comes up with that ball. Couple minutes left. Obilka shoots. And boy, you can hear their coaches yelling, settle. They really wanted them to relax. They didn't even, I don't think they even liked the pass.
No, that's the thing. It was definitely a forced pass, and we have a flag here.
It's going to be against Guelph. Illegal substitution.
But I don't know if the microphones picked that up, but Obelkis is saying, "Why did I shoot high there?"
Twice. Himself. Ball stripped, and then the play is going to be called down. Of course, the delayed penalty was coming. So Liam Patton called for the illegal exchange. Sam Koskowski comes over and says, "Okay, we'll learn from it." Just things being called very tight, very tight here. Patton needs to come over into the box and doesn't realize it. Another flag.
Down.
He's just asking. They're saying he was a little bit early heading it onto the field. They've been very, very tight on it.
So now
another penalty coming.
You go another penalty here. But Patton's penalty does expire, so they're going to want to try to get him back on there, because now you're down 2 starting long poles.
Well, and that's a big save by Lalani, because Guelph had a little confusion about who was going on. They had 2 guys start running the field, then they both ran off, and they wound up being down 2 men because they're shorthanded, plus they didn't have their defender getting out there.
Patton stuck on the sideline once again. He's dying to get back in there and try to kill this off, but it looks like the defense that is out there right now is doing a fine job.
Yeah, they did eventually get Matthew Lyons, a veteran long pole out there, and he's a solid defender, but boy, it's tough. We talked about this last game. When you're running in from the sideline and you're already shorthanded and you feel the pressure, it's tough to get your bearings and get settled when you get out there. But we are through 1 quarter of play. It's Guelph 3, Bishops 2. Shots on goal showing a 6-2 in favor of Guelph. So Bishop's making the most of their opportunities. Of course, those are shots on goal.
Yes.
Not shots that missed, which does happen. But Obicus, what a quarter.
Yeah, and that's the veteran presence that we were talking about. We focused a little more on Lalani there being the goalie. He's made a couple of big stops though too, but number 5 in black, he was definitely a player to watch, and he has shown how dynamic he is. A big, a solid frame, can run through his man, he can deke through his man. He's got that great stutter step, and his shot on the run is unbelievable, but he's definitely gonna, I know, Purple right now, Bishop's talking the defense, trying to figure out other ways how they can stop him, and that's the thing, you can't stop him, you have to try to contain him. You can slide early, but then you have the situation where if you're sliding early, you got to have that second man in there, because he has the ability to feed in those little tight passes. So,
and the awareness to know where they need to go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's so difficult to completely lock a man off as well. So I don't see Bishops doing that at this point in the game.
No.
That seems more of a desperation move, and I mean, you look at the scoreboard, no need to hit the panic button just
And
yet.
bear in mind, just looking at some numbers, Michael Kavanaugh, 23 goals, James Short, 21 goals, Liam Corbett, 14 goals, Zach Louie, 11 goals. If you lock a man off, you're just creating a more difficult defensive challenge for the rest of your team.
Exactly. Me personally, I'm not a fan of the shutoff. I think it's, like you said, it creates too many opportunities for other players to step up. And I find that, a guy like Obelkas, he's so quick, he might even be able to off-ball cut a guy and get open because you're so worried about shutting a guy off.
Yeah. Guelph trying to kill the time. You can hear them yelling, take it back, because there's a double team on the ball. And they're going to throw it back to Lalani, who is left wide open. Nice lob pass ahead.
Smart play.
Very smart, and nice adjustment on the bounce there.
And that pass there too, not trying to feed it, put it on a rope. He sees open field. He knows that with the turf, it's going to take a nice bounce. It's a really, really heads-up play there by Luani, another veteran on this team.
Yeah. And again, a little confusion on the bench. You can see one player waiting to go in, and Sam Kozakowski, the head coach, is just yelling, go, go. And they're counting down the penalty. So the last few seconds, the player thought he was replacing the player who was serving the penalty. Oh, there's a shot off the goal post by Elbicus. And there's the rebound, comes out to them, and they get it again. So Guelph, after a little confusion, I'm saying it may just be that we see a little bit more of that because we're right here. We're literally 3 steps away, 4 steps for you, 3 steps for me.
Hey now.
Away from the sideline.
Liam Corbett scoring that one there, and he's getting on the score sheet there, but that's just him. We talked about the urgency on those loose balls. He sees it on the ground, picks it up, takes it to the cage, and if you have that much space with a skilled player like Liam Corbett, he's going to put the ball in the back of the cage, no doubt.
Yeah, it's definitely not on the goalie, especially when he's spun to try and pick the ball up coming off the crossbar, and then has to adjust, and the guy's already got the ball in his stick. That pass thrown away by Guelph. There was some pressure, and Bishops comes up with it. They'll push the ball up into the offensive zone. Again, Guelph all over them on the D.
And that's one thing if you're watching Guelph, it doesn't matter if it's this year or 5 years ago, they're going to have athletic, aggressive long poles, and that's the case again tonight. I really like how they're, forcing out on the attack and even forcing out on the, the midfielders as well.
Yeah. Bishop's slowing things down, giving their D a little bit of a rest, and just setting things up, letting everybody get a touch. Nielsen comes up to Handley. Again, so much flows through Handley. He's going to send Nielsen for a little trot and pass it back the other way. Go to Winquist. Winquist loves to set up high and then drive down the high dodges and either shoot or pass on the run. He's very sharp at it. There's Handley cutting in. He's going to run back over to the top to Winquist. Winquist coming off the pick, cross, offside, slips. We've seen a few players slipping on the turf, but Winquist gets the goal, drops his stick, just leaves it and celebrates. It was like girls field across. You score, you got to drop it for the check, but Winquist buries that one after a lot of. That's what we're talking about. The quick feet, the the sequence of dodges. Like he doesn't just do one dodge, he'll throw 3 or 4 things together.
Yeah, he's got, unbelievably quick feet, and so quick that he actually fell down. He might have been trying to do too many moves, but his defender goes with him, so just comes back, switches to his right hand, and beats Lalani.
Well, the impressive thing, too, how quickly he got up.
Yeah.
With the defender right on top of him. St. Annika went a little early, so it's actually not Arsenal this time for Bishops. It's Alex Bungay taking it. We're almost 4 minutes into the second quarter, and Guelph has jumped ahead 4-3. That last goal by Winquist, bringing Bishops back within 1. And they have possession. They'll try and tie things up. Just getting their last attacker out. Reese Tomko, midfielder. They move it around the far side.
Hanley getting a little bit of a rest here. You don't see 22 in purple out there. So we'll see what kind of offensive set they go with here. Looks like one man in the middle here.
And you see that a lot when you need to get your one of your key middies, your big scorer, get them a bit of a rest. You'll see them often go to a yellow offense, just passing the ball around, some possession. You can see Guelph is kind of creeping out on them, and you wonder at what point they just take a drive for it. They thought about it. Gabriel Chamberlain was certainly thinking about it. That pass gets away. Again, battle for it on the ground. Scooped up. Nice job. Nathan McKenzie was the one who came up with that. But, again, Bishops with the hard ride, and they get the ball back. Oh, drive to that, and the shot is missed. And Lalani, they're going to say crease ball, and Guelph gets it. I don't think Andrew Nielsen is too happy with that one. He felt like he was checked into the crease. But he was laying on the ground in the crease circle. And that will be Griffin's possession.
Nice check there.
Yeah. Great job by Xavier Perron.
Yeah.
And then the sprint, and it is Guelph ball. That's Michael Lalani sprinting back the goaltender. And you know, that is an alert. Oh, procedure, Guelph. And it's going to be Bishop's possession.
Couple of sloppy plays by both sides of the team there. You know, you see the turnover in the corner there. Then Bishops just throws the ball away, and then Guelph with another, legal substitution there. So these two teams are going to want to clean it up.
Handley's back on the field. Gives it off to Winquist, who's over on the near side. Usually he stays on his far side, his normal side, but Bishops tends to have a lot of lefties. Lefty dominant players out on the field. 5 of them at the moment. At least 4. You do see Nielsen switch quite a bit, but they tend to have the 4 lefties. And not quite as much of a difference infield, of course. You often see guys, teams will set up on the offside just because they like the angles it creates. There's a shot. And that's one where you do maybe want to get your stick back to the middle, because that was not much of an angle for Joel Wright. He missed, it goes wide, and it's going to be Guelph possession. No, Bishops maintains possession, Went out off a Guelph player. They try to hit the cutter, but it's just a little bit too high for Joel Wright. Going to rethink things. Winquist will slow it down, backpedal a little, create some space. Guelph kind of packed in a bit more, back inside the restraining line. They were kind of gradually creeping out, especially with Hanley not there. I think they recognized that he was off the field. They could get out and press a little bit perhaps because so much does happen from his stick. Even if he's not finishing, he's the guy who makes a lot of it happen, much like Alex Henderson a few years ago. There's a pass, and it's going to be Guelph possession. They maintain a 1-goal lead, 4-3, as we are now 12 and a half minutes left here in halftime.
Good defensive stand there by Guelph, recognizing, trying to shut off the guys, force that pass and get a turnover in there, and that's exactly what happened.
The pass on the run doesn't quite connect. Corbett racing after it. He gets the ball, pulls it back into play, but Bishops comes up with it. There's a nice tic-tac-toe passing play. The hair absolutely streaming out behind Antoine Asselin.
You know, that sometimes happens with the offense. You know, you get, you know, a defensive, or sorry, well, it was a Bilkis there, you know, stuck on defense for a long time.
Yeah.
And you get a chance to, you know, maybe turn something into offense on transition. You force the ball a little bit, but then you find yourself down, you know, playing defense again. So I wouldn't be surprised if they do try to attack one of their defensive midfielders here to, you know, that because they are tired.
Yeah, Brett Elbicus again, number 5, is primarily considered for his offensive prowess, but boy, he can play defense.
And that's exactly what they're going to try to do. Probably draw a slide here. That's a great switch there.
That's a great one. That shot goes wide. Bishops will maintain possession. Blaze McCullough with the slide that you were talking about. Here's Bishop fighting their way back out front. There's some help. That time it was Patton jumping in. And there's that help defense that you talk about. Those slides are so critical. And Guelph's so good at waiting till the last moment to make the slides. I think that's what makes them so effective, is that they just, you know, they're not giving it away early. They go at just the perfect moment.
Yeah, if you slide too early, you know, you leave yourself open if you don't have that second and third slide there ready. And, you know, it seems like they're all timed perfectly right now. And Patton having himself a really strong game right now. Seems like he's fighting the ball a little bit, though, as well, working so hard. Oh.
Crease! He's in the crease first! Stop the clock.
You're going to have a penalty call. You can hear Guelph saying that they thought the Bishop's player was in the crease before anything happened. It's going to be a holding call, though.
Black ball! Fouls and wash. Nicky, you're wash. Scully, come back. Sir, how does that get washed if the ball's on the ground? Should that not be trouble? So I'll tell you.
So Bishops maintains possession, and Pat Gregoire is going to take a moment and just go over and listen to the officials' explanation, because it was a little confusing there, as there was a couple of penalties being called, but there was a crease violation which canceled it out. And once we're done with this possession, with this pressure from Bishops, we'll get that explanation if you're able to hear it. But Handley over on the far side is going to come behind the net.
So, you know, when the flag does get washed there, he said that whoever had possession who had possession last at the time of the foul regains possession. So that's why Bishops ends up with the ball again.
So I think what Guelph was arguing was Bishops was in the crease, and that should have given Guelph possession, but because of the offsetting penalties.
Exactly.
One thing is good, you know, the officials coming and explaining things to the coaches. There's a shot and a save by Lalani.
And that's a vintage Lalani save there.
Yeah.
You know, using his body to, you know, make saves. He does use his stick quite often, but he, you know, he is a box goalie, and you see sometimes he can't get that stick down, so he just throws his leg in the way.
Yeah. Oh, he has no problem using his body. It's interesting seeing him. You know, you don't get to see these guys all that often. And there's a wrap attempt with the one-hand swinging wrap shot. Doesn't quite get through, but nice creative effort by Nielsen. You say the ball is out of play, and Guelph gets it, but Lalani was built a bit more like a box goalie a couple of years ago. He had that, you know, he took up a little more space. He is looking very fit.
I was gonna say he's looking trim. He's even faster. He's getting involved in the clear game as well. So, you know,
I'm not sure how it's affecting his box game.
Yeah.
He actually had a pretty good start to the summer last year, this year, with you know, a young team in Toronto that they weren't sure if they needed to go get a goalie, and he actually, I think, surprised some folks by how well he played when he returned to the box. Yeah, and Guelph and Bishops is going to be called for offside, as they've got 7 guys back in the defensive zone. As we saw last game, the smart play, of course, once the flag goes up, keep them out there.
Yep.
You don't make the mistake
well
of leaving them. Just get the ball and serve your penalty and go.
It's going to be the first sound of offensive possession we've seen for Guelph in quite some time.
It is.
But they're the type of team, they are, you know, fairly patient, but if they see a lane,
They take it.
And they do take
Obicus cross, so Corbett from goal line passes up to Obicus and across, and just too much time and space left open.
Albicus, a beautiful skip pass there.
Yeah.
You know, passing through 3 or 4 purple sticks there. And, you know, the skip pass is much more difficult in the field game. I know you do have more space, but you got the long poles in the way. When you're in box, you know, you don't have quite as, I know it's a tighter space, but, you know, with those long poles, it is tricky to pull it off. And when you do see the field game with the Canadians, they do tend to try those skip passes a little more as well.
And Zach Louis burying that shot, you know, a little bit of a double clutch. It's like he didn't necessarily get it right where he wanted it in the pocket at first. So smart play, because you want to get the quick release when you're going side to side. That's kind of the point of this, you know, cross-field pass. But a smart play to wait and make sure he had the ball where he wanted it in the stick.
Exactly, and especially with it only being a 30-second penalty, that's probably going to be your only look that you get.
Great point. Bishop slowing things down, getting everybody out.
And, you know, I mean, still lots of time in this game. Bishop's down 2. They're still going to play that slow, you know, methodical offense, pass it around and wait until you get your chance. They play more traditionally like a, you know, American-style
US team,
US team, whereas some of these CUFLA teams kind of go on that hybrid style.
I like it.
Yeah.
But, you know, I like that. I like the action, the constant motion. But, I mean, Bishops, it's not like they're not doing anything, but there's a pass that gets away. Bishops maintains possession. Sam Fontaine changes direction, passes it back out up top. Bateman, one hand carrying around behind the net, switches hands, passes it back out. There's a little sidearm shot. Quick release, trying to catch them off guard, but not sure that Reese Tomko had a great shot chance of that one, but they maintain possession. As long as you aim for the far side, aim for the post, and so if you miss, the goalie's not getting it, it's going to be your possession.
Yeah,
You're okay.
exactly. Make sure you have that X guy behind the net as well, and it's what they call a possession shot. You know, you know you may not hit the cage there, but as long as you, that's not a great take there at all.
No.
High to high, right in Lalani's stick. He's going to make that save, you know, 10 times out of 10.
Lalani with the ball. Little toe drag by Lalani. Some pressure on him from Bateman, but he gets it. Nathan McKenzie's smart decision. Looked like he was winding up for the long pass, but I think that was just to draw the defender over and give him a chance to make the short pass and get possession in the offensive zone.
That's probably the best clear that we've seen from this Guelph defensive core, meaning the, you know, with the long poles.
Yeah.
Kind of been fighting the ball a little bit because of how well Bishop's pressures, but, you know, as being an ex-defender, you don't have to have the best hands in the world. You just got to be smart with the ball and find the right places to do, and that's exactly what he did there.
And knowing when you got a bit of time, because he was aware of how much space he had and when he needed to make the play. Guelph moving it around Corbett. That's the defender coming. Nice strip. They're going to say, call a hold.
Corbett really likes that inside roll. You know, he tries to drive upfield and then hit that little stutter step to go inside, and it is tough, you know, to have that, or sorry, to defend that as a defender.
Yeah. And Taylor Caulfield did a nice job getting him down, but just held on to the check a little too long, and that's why possession went back the other way. There's Olbicus. Slips, it still gets the pass off. That would have been a spectacular assist. Instead, it's going to be a shot that misses, and they will get possession again. We're into the final, coming into the final 3 minutes of the first half. Guelph still leading 5-3 over Bishops. Shots showing is 8 apiece. Guelph moving around the outside. Corbett will take it in the back. Sam Marceau cuts right through the middle, drawing a defender across. Drive on the alley. And then the pass to Corbett. They swing it around. Oh, Marceau in the middle, but the shot from outside.
I think Wolf got a piece of that there on the cleat. It looked like.
I think so, absolutely.
the way that it bounced after there, and that's a great athletic save by Wolf. See on that possession there, the midfield was actually used as a dummy dodge there. You dodge down the alley, fire it down low, and hit it back to the other side. That's another offensive set that obviously this Guelph team likes to use as well. Especially, it's tough too because it's such a offensive minded team from the midfield. It's tough to defend.
Taking their time now to set things up. Corbett goes back over to the far side. Obicus under some intense pressure. Taking a bit of a running start, putting the shoulder in. That was Ryan Arsenault. Stall warning in effect. That's procedure as they step back outside the restraining area while the stall was in effect. It was almost the referee's arm was just about to come down. You could see it was almost on its way down. Another couple seconds and it would have been okay, but you can't step outside that restraining line.
No, and that's got to be on the Guelph bench as well with the players and the players on the field. If you hear that ref, because obviously we can hear it from here on the field. Sometimes you don't hear it when you're so involved in the game. You have to echo the call. Say, guys, the stall's on. We got to keep it in the box. But
that pass doesn't connect. It's scooped up. A nice short pass.
Less than a
Pushing the
minute
pace.
left in this
Heidecker.
half.
Yeah, we're into the final seconds. 40 seconds right now. Opicus faking shot. There you heard some communication from the benches. Opicus had the ball. That pass just gets away. And Wolf snags it. Bishops with a long pass. Ball hits the ground. It's snagged by Guelph. A little pass to Lalani. Long pass up the field. Just 12 seconds left. Not quite snagged by Kavanaugh. And Jackson is just going to get position, body position, and he'll take a couple of swats on the back. And I was a little surprised not to see a flag on that one while he's kneeling on the ground and getting a couple of swats in the back. But Shane Jackson, a star long pole for the Bishops Gators. Just great body position and awareness that there was about 6 seconds left. He didn't have to do anything.
Exactly. I mean, you don't want to pick up the ball there and give Guelph a chance to, strip you and have the ball go the other way. You just chew up the clock, make sure that that ball doesn't get picked up by a black jersey, and you're fine.
Yeah, Zach Engel is going to go and grab Sam Kozakowski, the coach of the Guelph Gryphons. We're just going to take a look, and you can see Obicus with 2 goals and 2 assists for Guelph has really done a lot of damage. James Short, Liam Corbett, and Zach Louis with goals as well. Bateman, Nielsen, and Wingquist scoring for the Bishops Gators. And no surprise it's a close game. No surprise that, and it won't be a surprise when things keep going. We are going to hand over our headsets because of the technical issues we're having. You're going to give yours, I think, to Sam Kozakowski. I'm going to give mine to Zach Engel.
Sounds good.
And we'll see the interview right there. So Zach, here you go. Oh, you coming over? There we go.
Thanks, Stephen, for that. And I'm joined right now with Guelph head coach Sam Kozakowski. Sam, first of all, thanks for joining us here on the broadcast.
You're welcome.
How would you assess your team's first half play?
A little bit of first game of the tournament jitters, I think. A lot of turnovers, a lot of silly turnovers. I think both sides of the ball.
Obviously, you and Bishops are a quite familiar foe here in the Baggataway Cup. This is the 5th time in the last 6 years you guys have matched up. Does that familiarity play a certain role in this game? Does that change the way you approach this game?
Not particularly, no. I think you have to prepare for each team that you play as a one-off. You can't sort of, you can use your history as a motivator if you want, but the bottom line is you have to prepare for each game individually.
Now, lastly, are there any specific halftime adjustments that you're going to have to make personally to try and keep your team ahead of Bishops for the rest of the game?
Well, we need to take care of the ball. We're throwing the ball away. We're making risky passes, and that's not our style of play. So I think if we clean some of that stuff up, we'll be in pretty good shape.
Okay, thanks a lot, Coach. Good luck in the second half.
Thanks very much.
home Alabama.
Not optimal, but like I was wondering, like how you gonna do it?
You don't have to be home Alabama.
Typically we do it on that side. Somewhat elevated, the middle one. But today, they made everyone for it. So half our equipment is hockey and half our equipment is local kind of
Where it began, I can't begin to know, but then I know it's growing strong. Wasn't the spring, and spring became the summer. Who'd have believed you'd come along? Touching hands, reaching out, touching me, touching you. Good times never seem so good. I've been inclined to believe there never was, but now I look at the night and it don't seem so lonely. We fill it up with only two. And when I hurt, curtain runs off my shoulders. How can I hurt when holding you? Warm, touching warm, reaching out, touching me, touching you. Good times never seem so good. I've been inclined to
Hello, lacrosse friends. Welcome back to Baggataway Cup 2016. It's quarterfinal game number 2. I'm Stephen Stamp with Patty Gregoire. It is 5-3 Guelph. This is the rubber match between these teams. 5th time in 6 years they've met. And they have split the games, 2 wins apiece. But Rhett Handley with the ball.
Tough to be a rivalry game when you only play each other once
At
a
the
year.
Baggataway.
But I mean, these two teams have seen each other so often, and like you said, tied 2-2 in the series right now in the last 5 meetings.
Yeah, if any
Or 4
teams
meetings, I should say.
from opposing conferences are familiar with each other, these are them. The winner of this game, of course, will be playing at 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, semifinal against the Western Mustangs, first place in the West at 11-1. Brock earlier today a 20-8 win over the Ottawa GGs to book their ticket to the first semifinal at 1 o'clock tomorrow against the Trent Excalibur. Of course, Ottawa with a huge upset last week in qualifying. Unbelievable 11-10 win, 5 goals to finish the game off, 4 in the last 2:21. Bishops will hold on to possession here, and Rhett Handley's going to just check his stick.
That was really the first time this game we've seen Rhett Handley really take the ball to the cage there. He's such a fast, agile dodger that was really the first time he actually really tried to go to the cage. I wouldn't be surprised if we see it again, but it looks like, as he was going in the stack, he's going to come back out. So we'll see maybe if they try to free him up to get some opportunities here.
Yeah, I mean, he can play effectively from either, but it is nice to have his feet, have his quickness from the outside to be able to create mismatches, to force the slides and create open opportunities for other guys. That pass gets away for a moment, but is recovered. Now they go to Winquist. He's going to go to Handley. He's going to, oh no, that's not Handley. That's, sorry, I actually missed who that was over there. Taking that shot. Was it Winquist that went down low?
Didn't see it as
Oh
well.
no, sorry, it was Taryn Cook.
Okay.
Yeah. Bishop's maintaining possession, and Handley is down at X. Trying to create some space for him. He turns, shoots, saved by Lalani. And we were talking at halftime how, oh, here we go the other way. First of all, nice pass ahead. Over to the far side, Olbix gives it up. They come in, save by Wolf. That's a huge save. Flag on the field. Offside.
Big stop there by Wolf.
Huge.
Coming in after a long possession where Bishop's had a few really good chances. Coming the other way, that would be a huge momentum shift here and a boost to this Guelph lead.
Ben Heidecker moving up there, and he's come off now. Guelph setting up with the man advantage. Again, taking their methodical approach, waiting to see what they've got. And there's the shot from the outside, the high-to-high that missed, but it will be maintained possession. That was Zach Louie. Comes up top to Olbicus. Into the slot. What a save by Wolf. Penalties released. And sprinting back into the play is Marceau.
Corbett again with another big loose ball.
Boy, he just has a nose for those grounders. Olbicus with the spin, shoots way high. That one got away from him.
I think a defender might have came in and got a stick on there, but
Might have been. Stick on the ball or stick on stick? It almost looked like he couldn't follow through. But there's a follow through. Perfect pass to the cutter, and burying it. Guelph extends their lead. They're up 6-3. First goal of the second half, 4 minutes and 5 seconds in.
it's just a great cut and find from X there. That's another way this Guelph team scores. They can beat you so many different ways. Their midfielders so athletic. We talk about how well they can shoot on the run. The attack are great dodgers from the X or from the wings as well. And then you see an opportunity there where the off-ball cuts work really well, and it's a nice little quick stick in front of the net.
Yeah, Kavanaugh, the Peterborough native, buries that one, and it was barely in his stick before it was in the back of the net. Another huge battle for this ground ball off the face-off. Won by Winquist. Protecting the ball nicely as he drives down the field. Passes it down low. Little lob pass. Looked like he almost lost the handle there, Lee Kanakin, but holds on to it, gets over to the far side.
Good stick there by Wardman, getting that almost, forcing that ball to pop out. And I love how aggressive the long poles have been for this Guelph team, getting out on hands, making these passes hard for them.
Such a difference. I mean, we talked about Patton, we've talked about Wortman. These guys are doing such a great job. Nathan McKenzie as well. And again, these are guys who are the kind of depth poles, playing an important role, but not the main guys when Guelph was winning those titles. But they've been brought along, and they've taken on huge roles. There's a nice strip, but it is scooped back up. Bishops will regroup up top. Gabriel Chamberlain gives it off. Coming from X, you can see Lalani tracking. Kanakin's pass is knocked away, but it is scooped back up. Chamberlain. Trot in behind the net, and they're going to set up. Nobody in the middle. Just clear some space for him to come, try and dodge out from behind the net. Again, solid defense. This time by Nathan McKenzie.
Bishops trying to, draw a short stick defender behind the net to try to create something, but Guelph just standing above GLE, forcing them to make the decision. It's been working, the last 2 times they have tried.
Guelph just swarming there. Wortman, nice job to get a position, and then the ball scooped up. McKenzie sprinting the length of the field, going to the net, scores! He's talking to the last game. Sorry, it's Liam Patton, not McKenzie, Liam Patton, and I love the D goals, the long pole goals. You love them
absolutely.
too. We're a couple old defenders. We like to see it happen. And that's a beauty.
It is. It's great, and it's great to see because Patton has been playing unbelievable one-on-one defense, causing turnovers, picking up loose balls, but he has, I said a couple times, fighting the ball a little bit, but there, absolutely no problem. Picks up the ball, turns on the afterburners, and sees an opportunity. It looked like he was just trying to get to some safe space, but he sees a lane, takes it to the cage, and buries it. And a defender taking a shot is so hard for a goaltender. With that long pole, you really don't know where the ball's coming from.
Face-off win by Guelph.
And after that goal as well, you can feel the energy on this Guelph bench just pick up immensely. You see a gritty long pole like that, score a goal, everyone, chuckling, giving them, the taps on the helmet.
There is something slightly comical about the long pole.
Yeah.
I know it's the same thing. Whenever I take a shot, it just looks funny. But boy, I think the nice thing was the way he cut in, the way he angled in, straight down, then just a perfect angle to be able to get the shot off. I actually thought he'd run himself out of shooting position.
Yeah, no, I thought so too. And that was his first of the year. So he's not one of these poles that, get involved in the offense on the transition. Very much a stay-at-home defender.
Boy, there's a shot and a goal. Again, on the run. That's a beauty by Todd Greer getting into the offense, and such depth on this Guelph club, and they've got a bit of a roll going. They're up 8-3, and now it's going to be key for Bishops to come back soon.
Yeah, exactly. You just look at I already mentioned the energy from here on the Guelph side, and you look down at Bishops, and they just looked absolutely deflated. But lacrosse, as the old adage goes, it's a game of runs, and especially in the game of field lacrosse, you can score so quickly and get back in this game. Bishops can't be worried about this right now. They just got to pick up a couple goals here, and but that's they can't get away from what they're used to. They still have to, be slow with the ball and work it the way. They don't need to force the ball. Don't need to be chasing those goals.
Yeah, Manigan gets the ball back for Guelph yet again. And boy, sometimes it just builds. Ian Duffy was talking in the first game tonight about snowballing. You get the energy, and then you get a face-off win, and then you get a goal. You get another face-off win. Like these things just, the long pole goal, and these things tend to build on themselves. And now Guelph's going to take their time and just play things out. Blaze McCullough passes it down. There's Obicus. You can hear the building settle, but he's going to make the pass. And boy, I don't mind the decision maybe, but obviously not executed the way Albicus wanted to.
Exactly, and his head goes down right away as soon as he starts, running to the bench there. And that's just, you see a lane, you get a little bit too excited. Like you said, a couple of goals pop in quickly, so you're kind of riding the wave right now. But
got some officials having a bit of a chat over in midfield.
Guelph thought they were getting the ball back there, but it looks like it will go.
We'll go to Bishops, yeah.
And like I said, Bishops can't get away to what has worked for them, not just all year, but traditionally this program. Really patient with the ball and go through your progressions. They can't force a goal here or almost forcing a pass there.
That was something. Shane Jackson going up, needing the full reach of that 6-foot pole to get that one. That's a huge play. It looks like it's a little thing, but we're talking about cherishing the ball. So important to have possession when you've had that all the momentum going the other way.
Oh, if that ball goes out, you just take the, you hear Guelph, they'll probably go crazy on the sidelines, and it'd be very deflating.
Yeah, the big sigh on the other side.
Exactly, and you can't have that, and that's a little nothing play that looks like it's nothing, but it's huge, like you mentioned.
Handley directing traffic, wants Winquist to clear out, give him some space. He's going to dodge to the net, drive, shoot, save by Lalani. And we're kidding around at halftime. Well, partly kidding, making sure the arena announcer, the stadium announcer, knew how to pronounce Albicus.
Yeah.
They called him Albicus in the intro, so we're like, you may need this some more. Thinking, he's clearly the player of the game in the first half for Guelph, but I tell you, as Michael Lalani runs over midfield, he's a guy that's right in contention as well. I think Liam Patton's a guy to think about as well. Wortman, I mean, so many players playing well for this Guelph team, which explains why they're up 8-3.
Back onto that offensive possession there, see, Rhett Hanley get an opportunity there. It was actually a really nice take, just Lalani making a big save, and he can't get down on himself. He's had a couple of good opportunities. He does obviously have to get going because he is really, the spark to this Bishops offense. He just needs to keep doing what he's doing, and these shots are gonna fall for him.
A lot of running for Kavanaugh, and it's well worth it with the pass across. Leading to a 9-3 marker. Great effort by Kavanaugh, just back and forth, and then, and there you go. You talked about, earlier someone playing really strong defense, and then just split second, boom, it's in the net.
Exactly, and the thing with that as well is, Bishops kind of got caught in that. Their defense got caught. Do we go? Do we not slide? And Aslan kind of waited and then saw he had to go, and then he went, and it's too late.
Yeah.
If you're thinking about sliding, you probably should slide. That's what that's what I, in coaching, that's what I say. If you're thinking about sliding, you got to go because you're probably right with your first instinct. And if you wait too long, you've missed your opportunity, and you're better off staying at home.
Yeah, we talked about that in the first game, Ian Duffy and I as well, saying, if you're thinking about sliding and then you don't go, it's too late.
Exactly.
But if you're thinking about it and you start to go, don't stop.
Yep.
You can't change your mind because everyone else is going by what you're doing. And as we said, nobody can pick you up if they're not sure what's happening.
And given the benefit of the doubt, that's Aslan. He's one of their, their best poles as well.
So good,
He's been really solid there. And that's just a split decision that he decided not to make, and it causes his team, and you need to look up the scoreboard. Not panic time by any stretch of the imagination for this Bishops team, but it's that snowball effect that you talk about.
Yeah. There's an open look and a rip, and that is just a defensive lapse that take advantage of. Jackson Nishimori absolutely letting that one fly.
Yeah, that's a bomb from the outside, and that's just, good, like you said, defensive breakdown, good dodging from this Guelph team to, dodge the alley and then roll back and bring it back to a midfielder, and I think it was almost an opportunity for...
And we're going to have a Bishops timeout, and it's a good time.
Yeah. Yeah,
Now, in retrospect, even a goal earlier.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. Maybe you call that a little bit before that. But like I said, it's not time to panic for this Bishops team. They can score. Lacrosse is a game of runs. I've said it already.
Yeah.
It's such a cliche, but it's so true, especially in the field game. You just want to look to see this Bishops team. I know I did say, you want to continue what you've done all year, and traditionally this program has been a very patient team on offense. But maybe you see them try to, create some more opportunities on the transition here. Give Guelph a different look that way, because obviously their poles are doing a fine job.
Yeah.
Shutting down the offense when it's a settled situation. Maybe try to push it a little bit in transition. See if you can create some odd man opportunities that way. And it's just you got to think of other ways that you can, stop the bleeding here, because this could get out of hand quickly here.
Yeah. Well, the thing, another factor, I think, when you look at Michael Lalani, and you talked earlier, he's not necessarily the most consistent goalie. He's had his ups and his downs, but boy, when he is on, he can be unbelievable.
Yeah,
you talk about some of the great goalies, the Simon Bellamy, the Eastern All-Canadian, and the Western goalie, the West All-Canadian. But Lalani is better than anybody when he is on his game, and he's seeing the ball so well tonight, and he just feeds off that confidence. And when your goalie's playing like that, it gives confidence to everyone else.
Exactly.
It's just such a cycle.
And that's the thing, as a defender, if your goalie's dialed in, you're willing to take a little more chances, to try to strip the ball, play a little more aggressive, get to more hands, because if I don't make this play here, my goalie might bail me out.
Pressure from Guelph. They score again right off the face-off. Michael Kavanagh, his second. It's 11-3. I'll tell you, Mangan comes up with the face-off win and immediately pushes the pace, and that's just great passing by Guelph. It's hard, again, when you're racing back into defensive position and you never get a chance to get settled.
Exactly. That's that's probably the worst thing that could happen for this Bishops team after you call a timeout.
Right off the timeout. Oh.
And they go down and score like that. But that's just when you have a player that is so dominant at the X, taking face-offs, but not just that, but have the ability to push the ball in transition and create a scoring opportunity as well.
And there's scrambled draw, but Guelph comes up with it. Oh, they're going to give the ball away.
That's a good bounce for Bishops there.
Yeah.
Now Bishops, I know I said it, a couple times now. You really want to continue to do what your team is successful with, but you'd like to maybe see them take a couple chances here. And
4:27 left in the third quarter. So 24 and a half minutes in the game, and you're down by 8 now. It's a different story than it was when they were down by 6.
Yeah.
You have to start to push things a little bit, and of course the challenge, whenever you do that, you leave yourself vulnerable to the counterattack.
Yeah. And it's not even necessarily to climb back up in the score, but it's just to get the psyche of the team back in it.
Yeah.
If you score that goal quick, now all of a sudden you're like, all right, boys, we can do this. We can climb back in.
There's a drive to that. Another save by Lalani. We have an interference call.
Yep.
Bishops will get the ball back.
And that's a good possession there. You don't get the goal there, but you work hard to try to get the ball back, force the team, to take a possession call there with that interference call. So Bishop's going to get another opportunity here to try to put a ball in the net here and claw back into this game.
Handley's up top. I really like when they took the chance with him coming from down low. So we'll see what they do, whether they switch things up. Handley setting the pick there, and kind of a long run to create that one, but it does count.
Joel Wright there with a nice individual effort, and I'm a fan of his game. A two-way player, really good defensive midfielder, but he does have the the ability to play offense as well. A real spark plug team, and he's actually gotten a couple of little tiffs with some of the other Guelph players. Really likes to get under your skin, and he's an Ontario kid from Newmarket, so I know his parents are probably here watching as well.
Yeah. Well, the interesting thing, he kind of ran into Handley as he was trying to cut tight on the pick, and that kind of bounced him off, and then he cuts down to GLE and kind of comes back up, but a little hesitation there as well, and almost a stutter step, kind of changing the pace, and I think that may have thrown the defenders off a bit, not just the direct, flat-out drive.
And I mean, the right play there is to roll back and take it the other way, but he sees there's an opportunity where he can take a chance, and that was the chances that I was talking about that the team does need to take if they want to start to climb back into this game. And it would be huge, huge, huge here if this Bishop's defense can get a stop here. Maybe even Wolf make a big save. He's been pretty solid in this game as well. The deficit definitely not his fault, but look at the scoreboard, 11-4. They definitely need a stop here.
Yeah, but I mean, Wolf's been good. Lalani has been great.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Cam Bateman is actually standing down in the Guelph crease having a chat with Lalani. Interesting down the far end. Meanwhile, Guelph has the ball. Olbicus gets it in the offensive zone. He's going to go for a run around behind the net. Oh, there's a big save by Wolf right on cue. And he's going to make the long outlet pass. Taking it nicely off the ground is Winquist. Sorry, that's Cook. Oh, Cook bobbled it for a second under pressure, but managed to recover and grab that ball. That is a big possession again. As we come towards the final minute, 1:05 to play here, 11-4 in favor of Guelph. Bishops would love to get one or more back before halftime. And there is Joel Wright again, and again, not the most orthodox play necessarily, but a little spin and
Switches
takes
the
a high
hands
low, yeah.
Yeah, and no, that's definitely not the hardest shot we've seen all game, but sometimes, him coming in, switching hands, firing it, kind of throws off Lalani there, and that's a huge, huge boost from there. You go down the other end, Wolf makes a big save, a huge pass. Bishops comes down, sets up, sees something they like, and Joel Wright scores his second goal of the game, second in a row as well. And he's
25 seconds left in the third quarter, and we're going to have Bishop's ball is going to push in the back, no question about that one. Asselin fighting for it. 9 seconds, 8 seconds. There's a flag on the play, and you can hear, I think it was Drew Pollock, the assistant coach of Bishops, yelling, that's a flag. He wanted a penalty, not just a possession call. That is the end of three quarters, and Bishops is getting fired up. They're back within 6. It's 11-5 Guelph. The Gryphons in control, but it's not over.
No, certainly is not over, especially the way Bishops has played for the last, we'll say 4 minutes there. Doing a nice job, not giving up. Guelph went on their run. Now it's time for Bishops to go on theirs, and they're going to have to do it the way that they did it there. Getting some dodges from the alleys. I do want to see Rhett Hanley more than I want to see him get involved in the offense a little more than he has. But obviously, that's when he's not getting in his looks. There's other players that step up, and that's been Joel Wright, who's been huge for this team this second half as well. I mean, used more as a defensive midfielder earlier on in the game. Been a horse on the wings as well. But Guelph, they can't be. They're obviously feeling pretty confident right now with their lead, but they can't get complacent with the lead, I should say, as well. Looking over some shots right now. And, Guelph obviously getting more there with 9-6 in that third quarter. And Brett Bilkis, scoring 2 goals and 2 assists has been an absolute horse for this Guelph team so far. Very impressed with his game. We talked about how he would be the player to watch, and he has definitely been huge for them.
All right, we are back, sorry, and we're ready. Sorry, I guess we never really left. No, I took a little break.
Yeah.
Let you
had my little monologue there.
Yeah.
It was good, though.
I'm sure it was brilliant.
It
Not
certainly
sure exactly
was.
what you said.
It was.
But as you said, 11-5 in favor of Guelph. 20 minutes to go.
I was just what I was saying is, Guelph can't. They do have a strong lead here. Guelph just can't get complacent and
kind of sit back and relax. They got to keep, keep the foot on the gas here and not let.
Bishops goes to the net and scores with the man advantage, and Bishops immediately takes time out as Liam Patton is sitting in the penalty box.
That's great ball movement there. A good inside roll. Guelph, I couldn't see which defender it was. Slides down. It's a good rotation, but instead of taking the body, he tries to go for stick, and it's just an easy inside roll there. And Bishops makes them pay.
Yeah, Andrew Nielsen just cuts down low, and you can hear, I think everyone on the Bishop sideline yelled timeout. They know how important it is to take full advantage of this opportunity. They're within 5, just 10 seconds here into the fourth quarter.
Yeah, that's, it's like I've said it so many times, it's a game of runs. 12 won on their run, and now it's time for Bishops, for them to go on their run. They have to continue. They got to keep, pushing the ball, doing what works for them. And, you look at the scoreboard now, I mean, obviously still down 5, but the field is certainly tilted this way in favor of Bishops.
Bishops out of timeouts, so again, you tend to take them tactically in field lacrosse at critical times rather than saving them for later in the game.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's not a desperation move by them, to say the least, but you got to get back into this game. You use them. There might be a point in the game where they might want them back, but it's a risk that you're willing to take, and hopefully, for their sake, it works off.
Bishops takes advantage of it by winning the face-off. It's a huge one by Nick Martineau. They're going to set things up. Handley, little pass, still 30 seconds to go in the penalty. Outside movement, now they cut inside. Spin shot, and there's another goal.
Nearly identical, almost.
Back to back, the real delay on the call on that one. But that is Andrew Nielsen. Again, very similar to the last one, and it's 11-7.
Yeah, and Bishops just runs that wheel, that motion offense, keeps with the throwback, and then it goes down to the crease, and another slide comes over, that slide across the crease. And all Nielsen does is the inside roll, because they're coming in so hot, not taking the body, trying to, just get there in time, and all he does is just the inside roll, and he has an open look on the cage.
Fisher's just checking, making sure there was 23 scoring. Oh, we just heard you checking. Just having a little word with the officials. We're right in the thick of action here.
Yeah.
Oh, what a great check by Mangan. Giving up some size, but a great effort to get it away from Martineau. And Bishop and Guelph will have the ball. And that's a huge one, because they did not want to give up possession again with this run that Bishop's is on. You talked about gamer runs.
Yep.
And you've got to do something to control that.
No, that's huge. I mean, it looked like Bishops was just about ready to go back on another offensive possession, and you can hear actually on the Guelph. You're not going to bury a team, scoring a ton of unanswered goals. A team's going to get back into it. Now, Guelph, their challenge is to, try to bury some goals and extend that lead.
Corbin under some pressure from Jackson, but gets the pass off, hits the cutter. Nice defense there. It's just a great job by Marceau.
Yeah, it's solid D. It's a tough challenge when you're a short stick midfielder, having to.
Oh, what a move. Matt Cavanaugh with his third of the game undresses Shane Jackson. Jackson is a solid defender, but boy, Cavanaugh threw some great moves on him. His third of the game right there.
Yeah, he shows how dynamic of a player he is, in tight spaces. That slide does come. Well, first he beats his original man, then the slide comes and he beats him as well and just takes it to the rack and scores. And that's exactly what the doctor ordered, to get a goal here to stop, Bishops on their run that they had there.
Face-offs always so important. Pulled back between the legs.
That's a big. I mean, like you said, face-offs are always big, but that's huge. Bishops needed to grab the ball and get possession. I'm sure they're going to try to take it to the cage here and get another goal.
Kevin Orleman actually pulled that faceoff back between his legs, but interference call, so Bishops will get the ball back just when Guelph looked like they'd regained possession.
Right there, almost went back to what worked for him last time. Instead, he went high, but dodges in, switches hands to the right, and just barely misses. Looks like it just went off a little bit. Lalani getting away. Another unorthodox save for Lalani, but boy, it doesn't matter how you save them as long as you save them, and that's definitely the case for Lalani.
Bishop circling, gets it up to Hanley.
We're good. Patience. Don't chase, Liam. We're good.
Guelph sideline, letting their defenders go, don't chase, stay in tight. So when they get chasing, that's when, Bishops has been able to get some offense going.
Nice job again by the Guelph defense working on Rhett Hanley. When you get the short stick on Hanley, that's a tough challenge, but well played.
Don't chase, Pat.
And again, you can hear them yelling, don't chase, as Liam Patton was getting way up high on Winquist.
Good job, Patton.
Just makes the slide that much more difficult for the other defenders in at home.
There's the body save. Lonnie just gets himself in the middle of that shot. Penalty flag is up.
Black foul. 21.
Get an opportunity here to try to climb back up and cut this lead.
Yeah, Justin Martin getting the call, and Bishops will push.
Reload.
Nielsen was thinking about taking that similar shot, but tight defense.
Good job, man.
Looks like they're trying to run that wheel again, this time the other side.
There's Nielsen, shoots, scores, through 3 for Nielsen. And the Gators are back within 4. It's 12-8. You said no time to panic. Just keep doing what you do, but maybe a little more sense of urgency.
Yeah, Nielsen, showing. We saw 2 identical goals there on the crease there. This time he gets the ball, moves it upfield, and shows that he has a different skill set as well, being able to score on the run.
Penalty is over for Guelph, but they can't bring their player on until possession because there's a player set on this wing. And Bishops comes up with it. There's Nielsen, 4 in a row. Andrew Nielsen is on fire for the Bishops Gators.
Wow. 4 this quarter, 5 in the game for Nielsen.
5 in the game, right?
He's on fire, and you talking about how, earlier on it was snowballing in a negative way for Bishops. It's snowballing positively. It's just, he's building off this, feeding off, when you're a shooter and you feel it, you take a little more risks, and boy, is it's paying off.
And just, again, a slight strategic error with Guelph on the face-off after the goal. Joshua Martin's penalty expired, but they had somebody on this wing, so Joshua Naguri going in for him couldn't go on until there was possession, and that really wound up being a big factor as they never got their full complement back in on the defense. Bishops has the ball again as well, and Handley with it up top, 12-9, 12:35 to go, so lots of time for a rejuvenated Bishops team, and Winquist, that's a big save by Michael Lalani, as Winquist can score on those.
Oh, yeah.
The high-to-high is, again, you don't know, maybe that's not the best shot, but like you said, Lalani will bait him into taking that. There's a ground ball. Going to be Guelph possession. Nathan McKenzie gets possession. Lalani running with the ball. Eric Maudsley was wondering what the call was for. Slight push in the back.
That's a nice play there.
Oh, just a tap it ahead. Oh, what a hit.
And then you talk about one good ride the other way, and then he comes back the other way. Both teams know how important possession is with 11:30 left in this fourth quarter.
Guelph's going to slow things down. Kavanaugh has been the hot hand for them in this half.
Us being here beside the both benches, closer obviously to the Guelph side, you can hear the guys on the sidelines saying, guys, we have the lead here. No need to worry. Let's relax. Get back to what we're supposed to do. And they're exactly right.
And Justin Martin took that penalty that led to the couple of goals there, and he was very down on himself, and he's the one who made the big hit to separate that ball over there and get possession back. So that's what you love to see, right? The guy just stepping up.
That's all you got to do. I mean, you can't worry about what happened. You just got to worry about the next play. And I bet you, team's not even thinking about what happened before. They're going to remember, that effort play there to get that ball back.
Obicus moves it across to Simons. Tons of pressure on him. He's just going to back away and reset things. Now he's actually going to come off after passing it over. Obicus driving down the shoulder. Passes across to Corbett. Has to go to one knee to catch it. Jackson's on him. Trying to kind of can opener him a little bit, but Corbett battles it off. Stall on Guelph. They drive down, shot, bounces well high. Kavanaugh's in position to get possession back for Guelph.
And that's key. Bench now screaming, keep it in, keep it in. That Stall's still on.
Corbett's pass low, but Obicus goes and gets it. Drives to the net, pass across. Is that a save or is that in? It's in! Oh, a diving attempt by Wolf, but not in time. And Guelph has got a little momentum back. It's 13-9.
That's an
Kavanaugh again.
Yep, and he, like you said, he's got the hot hand. But
had a ton of net, and Wolf almost got it, though, diving across.
Yeah, and you got to give it, though, to Albicus with that beautiful pass from the other side of the field.
Well, you know they're going to collapse on him, right?
Exactly, and that's what the challenge is. That's his fourth goal.
Yeah, huge night for Michael Kavanaugh. Of course, as we mentioned, Andrew Nielsen with 5 for Bishops. Patton had it. It was stripped, but Corbett comes all the way back out near midfield to grab that one. Very alert by him. Obicus will take the pass up high. You can see Bishop's kind of pushing out a little bit. They want to get a bit of pressure on. It is a 4-goal lead. 8.5 minutes to go now in the fourth quarter. So 4 goals and an assist for Kavanaugh. And, of course, on the other side, those 5 markers for Nielsen. Oh, looks a little flick pass. He's so strong in the upper body. He can make those passes without a lot of movement in the arms. There's Corbett taking a big hit. Taylor Caulfield playing a sturdy game back there for the Gators. They need to get some strips here.
Yeah.
There's Kavanaugh dangling with one hand.
And that's exactly what they're looking to see if they can get a strip here.
And Kavanaugh is going to make them pay for it. As you can see, I mean, the effort is there. Nick Martineau absolutely selling out, trying to strip that ball. It's like going for the interception in football. If you get it, it looks great. If you don't, it leaves you very vulnerable, and Kavanaugh's 5th of the game.
Man, Kavanaugh's been absolutely dialed in the second half. Like you said, it's 5th of the game, adding an assist in there as well. It's been an unbelievable performance. You talk about Albicus and how unbelievable he has been in, but you start to key in on him, and like we said, it opens up opportunities for other players to step up.
And as big as Kavanaugh has been with those goals, Albicus has been a big part of creating those opportunities.
Exactly.
We actually don't have to. We often will be picking the players of the game. We're not doing that today. We've got the committee, the organizing committee is doing it, so we get to just watch and enjoy. And let them figure out whether you go with the 5-goal, 1-assist effort of Kavanaugh. There's a shot because he caught Wolf. And they're going to say that's Bishop's ball. But Olbicus thought he caught Wolf off his goal line and tried to tuck one in. Wolf coming out to put a bit of pressure on. Again, you leave yourself vulnerable, but Guelph just misses, and the Gators get it. But boy, Olbicus has done so much in this game too. Do you go with Kavanaugh? Maybe. I don't know. Olbicus has been really good. I was thinking of Lonnie for a while, but when Bishop's got to him, I'm going to go with one of the offensive guys probably. But Shane Jackson again going up high to get that pass. Martineau's going to throw it all the way back to Jackson on this side. So that was Aslan on the far side. Jackson to the short stick. Right. You can hear Nielsen calling for the ball. Now he's going to get it. A little later than he was hoping.
See, Bishop's probably not going to chew up too much time here. They're going to want to try to get to the cage almost immediately.
Well, they've got to score a goal a minute as we have 5:18 left in the fourth quarter. It's a 5-goal lead, 14-9 for Guelph. There's the pass in the slot, backhand rip shot. That's a great save by Lalani on Nielsen. And then Lalani with the pickoff. And boy, just when we say, Lalani probably not a candidate for player of the game, I don't know. Well, after that,
huge sequence there. Nice pickoff pass there, and a huge save before that as well.
Lalani is well up. You hear Sam Kozakowski saying they're going to call the stall, get the ball to a shorty, and let him run with it. Lalani is up near midfield again, helping with the clear. Now he's going to head back to his net. There's a pass down low. Corbett will score on Wolf, who had just sprinted back, and of course he's up, putting the pressure on the ride, and has to run back at full tilt, and really not set when he faced that shot from Corbett.
No, you can't really do much that at this point in the game. You got to try to force a turnover there. He gets caught out of the cage, and nothing he can really do on that one there, especially a shooter like Corbett as well. We've seen him finish a few times tonight as well in tight.
At this point, the face-offs, probably more important to Bishop. Guelph would love to get it and be able to kill the time, but Nick Martineau pretty much has to win some of these draws for them. And there is Manigan coming out with it and then flicking it back. And Manigan's going to come off. I was talking to some of the staff before the game as the Guelph players were in the dressing room getting ready, and said, okay, it's spelled Manangan, M-A-N-A-N-G-A-N. I was like, is it Manangan or is it Manigan? And they said, yeah, I think it's Manigan. I said, you know what, we just call him Mango. Always with the nicknames, right? Of course. So, and that's all we've heard from here is way to go Mango. So good on him, having a strong game at the dot. And here comes the cutter. And the rip. Oh, that's a nice save by Wolf.
It's tough to say, a goaltender's had a great game when there's been 15 goals past him, but, he's made some big-time saves.
He has.
For this Bishop's team when they needed him.
Guelph running, using their space. No stall call yet. There's a strip by Martineau, and he's going to head up the field. Echoes back to the goal by Liam Patton.
One go, two go.
When he took the ball with his long pole and ran the length of the field. Just a beautiful finish, and that was really kind of a turning point in this game.
Yeah, the momentum absolutely shifted the other way, and Guelph going to come around the other way here. And
Wortman sprinting up the field. And it's going to be a timeout for Guelph. 2:12 to go. They're up 15-9. I think they just want to settle things down, make sure they're all on the same page with what they're going to be doing to maximize their use of time here.
And, with about 2 minutes left in this game, we talked about before the game how both squads are, fairly young. A lot of their impact players are younger players, but you look at Guelph, and we said the advantage might go to them because of their veterans and Lalani and Albacus and even Kavanaugh as well. And who have been the 3 best players for Guelph? You could probably argue all 3 of those guys.
They actually look pretty smart on this one.
Yeah,
it's a nice change.
Funny how that works.
So 2:12 to go, as you mentioned. It's 15-9. Now, if you are wondering why is Guelph taking a timeout, why aren't they they've got it home and cooled out. Remember, McGill was up on Ottawa by 4 goals with 2:21 to go when Ottawa got the first of their 4 goals in the final 2:21 last week. So it's not over.
No. And they're gonna,
probably, but not quite.
And you know what? The coaching staff, Guelph, Koskowski's probably going to want to draw something up here, because they know that the goalie's going to be out of the cage, Wolf's going to be out of the cage, try to press out, try to get that ball back. So they want to make sure they have the right guy who they want with the ball in his stick and, try to create some space to get away from that double.
They'll set up now. Looks like Opicus will start with the ball.
And it shouldn't be too surprising now.
Yeah, that's a pretty good decision. I think I might do that. I mean, Michael Kavanaugh's been great, but Obicus is the guy who can carry it. Double team, Martineau getting on him, and Obicus runs by him. That's a big play. As they've got that double. He's so tricky, and of course, Wolf is out covering a player, covering Kavanaugh, actually. So if they ever decide to go to the net, there's really not much to stop them from scoring, but the time is obviously the critical component here. Stall warning is in effect. So Bishops is going to have to put the ball into play. And Guelph has taken another timeout. I believe that's their final timeout of the game. Yeah, so no more timeouts for either team. Who do we want to talk to after the game? I think we're thinking either Brett Albicus, Michael Kavanaugh, or Michael Lalani. What do you think?
You know what? I think
we don't have time for a Twitter poll. So.
No, we don't. I think you got to go with Albacus. Then Lalani as well too. I know it's real
Kavanaugh.
tough. Even Kavanaugh. I mean, we talked about all 3 of these guys pregame. So you know what? Let's go
Albacus.
Let's go Albacus.
Yeah. So post game, we will have a chat with Brett Albacus.
And that's the thing. I mean, you have Kavanaugh who has those 5 goals.
Yeah.
But you take Albacus off the field. I mean, he's probably not scoring those goals because he does create it. And, all the attention is on number 5 in black, and they're just so focused on him. It gives other players opportunities to create some of their own offense.
The stall warning will stay in effect after the timeout. The ball will be down in the corner. We can't see it because there's an entire Guelph bench between us and that corner. Even at 6'9", I'm having a tough time seeing over top of it. We're going to see what happens with the pressure. They certainly have the double team on. And Brett Albacus just breaks away from it and will put it in the net to ice things. We said obviously Wolf is out playing some defense, and if they get free, but Albacus, I mean, he ran away from Martineau before he breaks the double team there. That's just a microcosm of what this guy brings to the game.
He's just so shifty, so fast. That first move is so tough to defend for him. He's just so shifty, but he's also a thick player as well, so he can lean into you on top of that as well. He's a nightmare, an absolute nightmare for not just short sticks, but long poles have a hard time with them too. And then you throw a double on there too, and that's not
a double team with 2 long poles, and you can still get away. I mean,
exactly. Some offensive players actually like getting double teamed because it's such the defenders are so aggressive. They feel that they have the advantage because they are in the driver's seat there because they can outshift the guys.
Guelph gets the ball back. We're into the final 120 at 16-9, and boy, I tell you, we expected to be a little closer. Guelph got that run going. Bishop started to come back into it. Andrew Nielsen leading the way, and then Guelph just looking like a much more veteran team than they are. Great leadership again from Albacus, Kavanaugh, and of course Lalani.
And you know what? I think once their defense started to settle down, they still were able to play aggressive though while setting down.
And Albacus with his 4th of the game. I'm not sure how happy Bishops is going to be about these goals going in.
No. But I mean, yeah, like you said, we did anticipate this to be a little bit of a closer of a game, and I think, with the exception of this little run here that we're seeing Guelph take, and that other one, that's just been the difference. I mean, Guelph has done a fine job, finding ways to respond to Bishops when they made their push, and they haven't let up.
Ball is loose still at midfield. And eventually, Joel Wright comes up with it. We've got interference on Bishops, and boy, everything is just rolling for the Gryphons and against the Gators at this point. And I talked to Drew Pollock before the game, and he was saying, we are young. We've got a few veteran guys, but a lot of youth, a lot of talent. It bodes well for the future, and obviously they're looking towards the future now. And Bishops are going to come back. They're going to be very strong. But this Guelph team will move on and face the Western Mustangs tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Of course, the 1 o'clock game, the Brock Badgers, who won earlier today against the Trent Excalibur, the #1 seed now from the East after Ottawa had knocked off McGill last week. And I think those should be two terrific games. Certainly Western is going to be a favorite, having beaten Guelph twice this year, but some close games. It should be a good one. Trent Brock, I think, is one that everyone's looking forward to.
Exactly. Yeah, I think the closer of the two on paper, you got to give it to Trent and Brock.
Olbicus with 6. We're going to double check. I believe that's 6. As time expires, Brett Olbicus with his 6th goal of the game.
And if we had any sort of decision, if we weren't going to chat with him that last couple minutes, I think made sure that's who we would be talking to. But
and again, it's 2 of them are empty net goals, as you said, but one of them came from breaking the double team so impressively, and then and that last one is just a beauty, that rip. And as much as we keep saying, don't go high to high, he goes high to high. If you can shoot like that, it makes it work, right?
But
you're not going to mind giving up your headset, are you?
No way. Okay. Absolutely not. But before I do that, I mean, I said it earlier today, Guelph is a team. This isn't the same type of team that they had, but they do have some of those veterans who have championship experience, and that's huge coming into this weekend. They're playing a team in Western who can score in bunches, and today they showed that, tomorrow might be a little bit of a marathon of goals because of how good offensive this team is as well. We know Western is definitely, if not the best, one of the best offensive teams in the league, and Guelph flexing their offensive muscle tonight, so I think we could be in for a shootout tomorrow.
It could be. I mean, Cody Ward leading the way, leading all scorers in CUFLA this year for Western.
Yeah.
And there's Michael Lalani. I'm trying to decide whether we've got 5 or 6 goals for Brett Olbicus. Either way, it's a very impressive performance. 3 assists, and so much of his presence on the field is helping Michael Kavanagh and the rest of that Guelph offense. And it is interesting, as we mentioned before, you see Olbicus playing that supporting role, having the big game a couple years ago, but more of a supporting role. 2 guys like Curtis Knight, Ryan Serville, Jordan Critch. We haven't mentioned all the guys, but they had such a deep lineup. It was incredible.
Yeah.
And, and Olbicus now is just taking on such a leading role and grown into such a dynamic player.
Yeah, he really has. You can tell that, before, especially in that game, he was just scoring his goals on the run. It was a dodge from up top, take it to the alley, shoot on the run, and score.
Yeah.
Now he's showing he can score, taking the ball to the net himself. He's also showing that he can be a playmaker as well because he's so dangerous with his dodges as well. And, I mean, if Guelph's going to, pull off a quote-unquote upset against Western tomorrow, he's going to play a big part in it for sure.
Yeah, and it's interesting. The first game, I was talking with Ian Duffy, and we're saying, who's the player of the game for the Brock Badgers? We're like, well, you had Connor Ham with 5 goals, and he was terrific, and finishing is really important. But at the same time, Brandon Slade had Connor Primo on him, the tough defender, scored 3 goals, 3 assists anyway, even though they're trying to lock him off. And so much, just creating so much of the opportunity for hamming the other players. And the same thing here, where Kavanaugh, great with his 5 goals.
Yeah, 5 goals, 1 assist.
But I mean, so much of it arose from what Brett Olbicus was doing. Now, how much do you count those last 3 goals when 2 of them were empty netters and one's as time expires? There's still.
He had to work hard to get there.
He did. And again, so much of the opportunity that Kavanaugh had was because of Brett Olbicus.
Exactly.
And again, not to take anything away from what Michael Kavanaugh did, because he had a terrific game.
And from the Guelph Gryphons, number 33, Michael Kavanaugh.
And I think that decision was made before the last couple of minutes.
Yes, it was.
I know we saw the sheet, but boy, you don't want to change the last minute. And again, nothing to take away from Michael Kavanaugh. And,
You could
was
go.
great.
You could go either way,
Oh,
to
yeah.
be totally honest. But I mean, Guelph has to be. Obviously they're pleased with the W, but I think they're pleased with the way that they won as well. It's got to be
the consistency.
It's got to bode well, and the fact that they, went on a little bit of a lull and then were able to respond quickly and not let up as well.
Yeah. And we've talked about Lalani, we've talked about Kavanaugh, we've talked about Olbicus, but we did talk earlier, Nicholas Wortman and Liam Patton.
Yes.
And, that defense was so solid. I mean, they just throughout, they were getting great performances. I think, Nathan McKenzie was very good. I think Justin Martin made some nice plays. He's very upset with himself for that penalty he took, and then he bounces back and makes the big hit. And everyone's contributing when you have a win like this.
Exactly.
You're going to come back in a minute, but first we'll be joined by Brett Olbicus. I haven't interviewed Brett for a while. It's been a couple of years, I think, since we had a chat. So there we go, Brett Olbicus on the headset. And I did, at halftime, I went to the stadium announcer and said, okay, we got to work on it. It's not Olbicus, right? But he wasn't giving up the Olbicus. But what a game you had. And I think, the thing that we saw was you guys get out ahead, you have that nice run, they start to come back, and you guys are a youngish team, but enough veteran presence to bounce back again.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we just had to keep our composure out there because pretty much like we had a lot of trouble staying up for big games, especially this year.
Yeah.
But now we're in playoffs, we got to playoff mentality, so we just got to keep it that way,
You were around, and we talked about it. It is a fairly young team. There were such big names a couple of years ago when you guys won back-to-back championships.
Yeah.
You were part of it, but there was guys like Curtis Knight and Ryan Cervelle and Jordan Critch, on and on. And you've taken a much bigger role with this team. And we were talking about the one game you had a couple of years ago. I'm sure you remember. You scored a bunch of goals, all of them on the run from just space being created by other guys, and you took advantage of it. Now you're taking a much bigger leadership role, creating things as well, and it seems to really be opening stuff up for guys like Kavanaugh.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I'm trying to do out here. Like all our offense is strong, and for me to take away, be a threat in the field and open up other guys, that's the best thing I could do on the field, right? Open up space for the other guys so we can play as a whole team.
We talked quite a bit about you and Michael Lalani and Kavanaugh's leaders. And Michael Lalani, we thought, had a brilliant first half.
Yeah, I'd say he's definitely a big part of our success. He's been one of the best goalies I play with so far, and I hope it continues that way through the playoffs, right?
You guys 8-4 this season. I had people saying, Guelph might have trouble with Laurentian in the qualifying game. You didn't. You had a pretty big win. You came together. And, this is a team, people forget, I think, that both times that you won those championships a few years ago, you were third seed both times, right? So do you guys feel like, hey, this is the way we roll, come in third seeded and surprise some people?
Yeah, it's nice being the underdog and coming in unexpected, and no one has you on their radar, so I think that's what we're going to try to do this year and see what we do tomorrow.
You know how tough Western is, though.
Oh, yeah, they're a good matchup, so hopefully we get them this year.
Yeah. What? Obviously, you didn't get them during the regular season, but you were close. You had some really tight matches with them. What do you feel you need to do to change things a little bit and just have it go your way down that last few minutes?
Yeah, well, I mean, the second game there we played them this year, we were a lot closer. We started playing as a team, and that's where we saw a big difference in our style of play. So if we come out here with that same mentality, and I mean, we've been building stronger every day, so hopefully we can take the win from them.
Appreciate your time. I know you guys want to go get some food, get some sleep. Good luck tomorrow. We'll see you back here.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for having me.
Nice to chat with you guys.
Exactly.
It's been a while.
It's been a time.
All right. Have a great night. Thank you very much. We're going to get Pat Gregoire back on here just because I like to make my color guys put on the sweaty headphones. Good work. And what a game by Olbicus and this Guelph team. So many guys playing well. And, Bishops is going to be disappointed, and reasonably so. I mean, not the game they were hoping to play.
No.
But that's quite a matchup and really impressive. I was just saying with Brett Olbicus, they were third seed both times they won championships a few years ago. They know had to come in as underdogs and make things happen.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it seems like it's a very similar situation that we saw in Oshawa 2 years ago. Obviously not nearly as many offensive weapons that we had before, but a team that a lot of people doubted. They doubted that team. They said, the defense wasn't strong enough and the goaltending wasn't strong enough. And obviously, the offense was unbelievable that tournament, but the defense stepped up big, and that's kind of what we saw down the stretch with this team as well. We saw Lalani make some big saves. The defense, once they settled down, they were making some big strips, moving the ball up the field really well. I don't want to say, do I think Guelph is going to, have an upset against Western? No. But would I be surprised? I wouldn't be surprised either. I wouldn't be shocked.
No.
And it's just the way that the program's built. They play the exact same way that Guelph has been playing lacrosse for, so many years. And that's a, tip the cap to that coaching staff. They get their players and they, make them play Gryphons lacrosse, and that's what they did tonight.
Yeah, and it's interesting. You're talking about the defense. They was questioned a few years ago, but they had Ben Van Galen, who to me is one of the best LSMs I've seen in CUFLA over the years. And they also had, I was just thinking of their other big defender. They had a couple of key guys, and then they had guys like Nicholas Wortman, who was playing a role. They had these guys, and you said, Sam Kozakowski and his coaching staff, they just bring these guys in, and they learn Gryphon lacrosse.
Exactly.
And boy, I'll tell you, I wouldn't, like you said, I'm picking Western to win tomorrow at 4 o'clock. I won't be shocked if Guelph can pull it off because we've seen it happen.
Exactly, and that's the thing, Guelph's going to have to adapt and find a way to beat Western. Yeah, I don't know if they're going to want to go into, a run and gun style game at Western, because you've seen what they're able to do. They're going to have to, that defense is going to have to step up, and Lalani's going to have to come up big in situations, and he's the type of goalie that, like you said, when he gets hot, there's not too many better goalies than him.
And maybe a long pole goal.
I love it. I love it.
We're getting the wrap-up sign from the guys here directing us. It's getting cold. They want to go get some sleep because we'll all get back here tomorrow. For Pat Gregoire and Zach Engel and the rest of the staff here at Brock TV, thanks so much for being with us. It's 2016 Baggataway Cup tomorrow, 1 o'clock, Trent versus Brock, 4 o'clock, Western versus Guelph. Should be two great games. We hope you can be with us. Have a great night. We'll see you then.